on Colonial Sports Center. It's time to lace up for football boots and head out straight to the pitch as Robert Morris men's soccer look to clinch their second consecutive Horizon League tournament berth on Wednesday. Colonial Sports Network headed down south to Boone, North Carolina as Robert Morris took on Appalachian State at Kid Brewer Stadium. And the college basketball season is just days away, so y'all both teams are prepping for the first games on Monday. Hope you didn't have trouble getting your car started, as you might miss this brand new episode of CSC.
Hello and welcome to Colonial Sports Center. My name is Colby Shore and alongside me is Kevin Plowshed, and we didn't have any car troubles because we're here for you tonight. Kevin, what do we have for the people at home?
That's right, we are here, and the men's soccer team had a win-in-you're-in situation on Wednesday. The football team took a trip to Boone, North Carolina, and college basketball season is right around the corner. We'll have plenty of information about that for everyone at home. But Colby, we're going to start right off with that men's soccer game. Win-in-you're-in for the Colonials for the Horizon League tournament.
That's right, we're going to kick the show off with some soccer for you tonight. The men's soccer team, as Kevin was saying, was in a win-and-end situation as they took on the IUPUI Jaguars, who they've only faced one time in program history. That was earlier last year. They're looking to make the playoffs for the second time ever in program history. Were they able to punch their ticket to the dance? Let's head up to the NAC and find out. In the first half here, we're going to have Connor Hain. He's going to do a delicious cross, as Casey Irwin once said. Sends it over. Shane McMillan's going to head it into the net, and it's 1-0 Colonials, 38th minute. Will they make the top five, Kevin? We don't know.
It might. We'll see later. But Shane McMillan, his first career goal as a Colonial off that header, beats the Jaguars goalkeeper.
I don't think you could have a bigger first goal, but Owen Jett's going to get the pass here, and he's going to send it over to Evan Lacara. He's going to send it in the net. 2-0 Colonials, 44th minute, and that was a big goal, Kevin.
Huge goal. 10 seconds before halftime. Just absolutely huge momentum heading into the half.
Head to the second half here. Chase Gillian on a penalty kick. Going to fake the goaltender out, send it into the back of the net, and well, I guess we'll call this a gritty, 59th minute, 3-0 Colonials, Kevin. They're very close to punching that ticket.
I'd give that gritty at least a 5 out of 10. Beats the goalkeeper. Absolutely, very easily.
Rana Congo over to Victor Cora. He'll make it 4-0 now at the 63rd minute. Colonials running away with it. Jaguars, I guess, weren't the fastest animal on the planet today because they can't keep up with the Colonials. Moving on now. Darren Gray to Shea McMillan again. 5-0 Colonials. Look at Coach O'Keefe. You'll see a teammate run over to the corner, Kevin. 78th minute, it's 5-0.
That's right, we'll see this again. Shane McMillan with his second career goal, his second of the day. Colonials win 5-0.
We're going to hear Michael Deemer after the game with some players and coach about punching their ticket.
Guys, Horizon League tournament, how does that sound in dominating fashion, a 5-0 win?
Nothing better as a senior on senior day and the performance these guys put in today. Really proud of the team. See what we can do in the playoffs.
Yeah, definitely gives us a lot of confidence going into the Horizon playoffs. Sounds great. It's what our goal was all season. So to have the guys achieve that is great. And now it's a new season. And
certainly a huge win for the men's soccer team as that tied a season-high 5 goals scored in a game. And that win, as we mentioned, put them in the Horizon League tournament. Let's take a look at the bracket to see where the Colonials and other teams fall. As you can see, RMU does face off against Oakland. We might be having a team from CSN going out to cover that game. But IUPUI, Detroit Mercy, Cleveland State, and Wright State get the bias. Colby, what sticks out to you in that bracket?
I think just the chance here, being the 5th seed, taking on the 4th seed, they still have a really good chance to take down Oakland. And if, let's say, Detroit Mercy win, they'll head to Wright State, not Cleveland State, and that's a much better road to the championship.
Absolutely. Now, switching things over to football. Last week on CSC, we learned that the Colonial football team fell to 0-7 and got off to the worst start in program history. Well, the team had to make the trek 6.5 hours to Boone, North Carolina, along with some members of CSN to take on FBS opponent Appalachian State. Expectations weren't too high, but let's see how the Colonials fared against the Mountaineers. Unfortunately, the Colonials fall to 0-8 after a 42-3 loss against an FBS opponent. Colonials only trailed 7-0 after the first quarter, and they cut it to 7-3 in the second quarter. So listen, if you're going to take anything out of it, I think it has to be positive. Chase Bryce with 4 touchdowns, but did throw an interception. Anthony Chickett with an interception on the very first throw of the game, but ended up with 70 passing yards. Colonials will face Charleston Southern on the road on Saturday.
As Kevin was saying, there was a team from Colonial Sports Network in Boone, North Carolina, and Michael Deemer is going to take us to the mountain and see what he found at the summit about that game. Michael, what did you find?
Welcome to The Rock. I'm Michael Deemer here in Boone, North Carolina, as Robert Morris travels to Appalachian State for their second FBS opponent test this season. The Robert Morris Colonials traveled to High Country to face the Sun Belt powerhouse Appalachian State on Saturday afternoon. Junior quarterback Anthony Chickett started under center for the second consecutive game. And despite starting their first 2 drives with 3 and outs, Appalachian State took control early. Checkett threw an interception on the very first pass of the game, as he had 70 passing yards on the day. Quarterback Chase Bryce and the Mountaineers got on the scoreboard first, scoring midway through the first quarter to take the lead, and they never gave it up. After a 45-yard Jason Jenkins field goal to make it 7-3, Appalachian State poured it on as Bryce charged 98 yards down the field on the final drive of the first half to make it 21-3. Bryce had 185 yards passing on the afternoon. The Mountaineers could not get their foot off the gas pedal on both sides of the football, as they scored 4 touchdowns in a row as the Colonials went 3 and out on each ensuing possession. Defensive lineman Rico Watson left the game with a head and neck injury before the half and was a significant blow on the defensive side of the ball. Just a week removed from his 111-yard game against NC senior running back Elijah Jackson had 36 yards on the ground, as the Colonials are now second worst in the country in rushing offense. It was a different story for App, as they had 287 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns on the ground alone. With a 42-3 loss, Robert Morris falls another game and is now 0-8 on the year, in search for their first win of the season. I spoke to head coach Bernard Clark postgame to see if there was more to the scoreboard displayed at Kid Brewer.
In this situation here, it's strictly the scoreboard, to be totally honest with you. I'm just kind of tired of the whole situation. We're 0-8 right now. We got to win the game. That's what it boils down to. We got 3 games left. We got to figure out a way to put something together as coaches to put these guys in the best position so we can win a football game. That's what it boils down to. That's what I'm taking away from this game, is putting ourselves in a position so we can win a game. I mean, we've got to prepare ourselves, prepare our minds, prepare our bodies again, and put ourselves in a position to win the game. Probably got to pull a little bit back in practice because of some of the guys that are injured, but other than that, we've got to be a mental practice this week and make sure we're focused on what we need to do.
The Colonials will stay on the road and return to Big South play to face the also struggling 1-7 Charleston Southern Buccaneers in South Carolina Saturday at noon. Reporting for Colonial Sports Network, I'm Michael Deemer.
Thank you so much for that deep dive, Michael Deemer. Now, when we come back, don't go anywhere because we're hitting the hardwood here on Colonial Sports Center.
The death of George Floyd, who died in police custody Monday night.
Turning my pain into purpose is pretty much what I have done to start this foundation. It's going to take more than just us, as a foundation. It's going to take the community, the world, to help us make a change, because it just can't be us.
Feel the beat of nature at a park or forest near you. Find a forest and music inspired by nature at discovertheforest.org.
Welcome back to Colonial Sports Center. Now, as the calendars flip to November, it means that college basketball is just around the corner, and that means that the Robert Morris men's and women's basketball teams are back in action. Our own Ethan Morrison got the chance to go to a men's basketball practice and sit down with head coach Andy Toole and talk to him about the upcoming season. Ethan, take it away.
As the calendar flips to November, that can only mean one thing, that the college basketball season is right around the corner. And for the Robert Morris men's basketball team, they are prepping for the 2022-2023 season. Over the past several weeks, the team has been put through long practices to get ready for the upcoming season on November 7th. Head coach Andy Toole and graduate student Khalil Spear spoke on the team's efforts throughout the first couple of weeks of practice.
They've been competitive. That's the main thing is we've been able to get a lot in because guys have come with really good mindsets. Guys have been competing, and I think that's one of the best ways to improve. The game obviously can teach you a lot when you're being successful or unsuccessful in drills, right? And we have guys that are coming in here trying to get after each other, trying to make each other better, and so that's allowed us to have productive practices.
There's a lot of energy going through the gym every practice. We're just focused on getting better every day, and with this group, you see continued growth every day, so there's nothing but excitement around here.
Coming into this season, Robert Morris returns their core, which includes Spear, Enoch Cheeks, Michael Green III, and Matt Mayers. but they also have brought in a decent amount of transfer students and true freshmen looking to make an impact this season. We'll discuss who has stood out to him over the first couple of weeks of practice.
There's been a number of guys that have kind of started to separate themselves a little bit to kind of create, what we think our rotation will be to start the year. And it's a mix of, some new guys and some returners. So, I think some of the things that we envisioned guys being able to do when we recruited them, so far they've shown the ability to do that. And we got to make sure that continues as we get into gameplay.
As the veteran on the team, Toole expects the most out of Spear. Toole spoke on Spear's leadership ability and what he brings to the table in his graduate season.
Yeah, he knows our system inside and out. The hard thing sometimes when you've been here for 3 years is, keeping that focus and keeping that discipline and how you have your practice habits. And I think Khalil's done a really good job at this fall, setting the tone for the way we need to compete, the way we need to work. He's always been very coachable during his career here, and that's allowed us to coach everybody. When you can coach some of your most experienced and some of your best returners, it puts everybody in the same category of understanding that getting coached is important.
With the season just 1 week away, Spear spoke on what it means to finally get back onto the hardwood in front of fans and be able to compete once again.
It's exciting. We love the grind. We love these days where we get in and we're going against each other, but we beat up on each other enough now, and we're ready to see what we look like against other competition.
Robert Morris sets their sights on Columbus, Ohio on Monday as they take on the Ohio State Buckeyes on November 7th at 7 p.m. It will be interesting to see how a re-energized core and some fresh new faces complement the team. Reporting for Colonial Sports Center, I'm Ethan Morrison.
Thank you, Ethan Morrison, for that slam dunk of a package. Now, Kevin, let's take a deeper dive into the men's basketball season, or season from last year, if you will, and see how they did in their second full year in Horizon League play.
Yeah, so the team struggled, unfortunately. They went 8-24 overall with a 5-16 conference record. However, they do return 3 of their top 4 scorers from last year, that being Khalil Spear, Michael Green III, and Enoch Cheeks, like Ethan mentioned. Definitely a tough test to start the year with at Ohio State, but Colby, what's kind of your main takeaway from last season?
Last year, the record, I think, is a little bit deceiving. They were able to pick up towards the end of the year, upset Youngstown State, and give Cleveland State a bit of a ride a bit of a fight in the second round of the conference tournament. But I'm really expecting a big year from one player, Enoch Cheeks. He's really came into his own last year down the stretch of the year. I think he's really going to be a big part for this team.
Absolutely. Now, Colby, you have a little bit more about a player from the women's basketball team, right?
That's right. Hope Beatty continued the local legacy series as she talked to junior guard Mackenzie Amelia about the upcoming season and her journey as a basketball player. Hope, what do you have?
Through hardships, faith, and perseverance, junior guard Mackenzie Amelia's path to Robert Morris University was not easy.
I think I had the best connection with the coaches here. I could tell that they had a really strong faith base, and that was really important to me.
Even though her father passed away before she made her college basketball debut, Amelia says that she still believes that he is watching.
My father actually passed away, so he unfortunately didn't get to see me play at RMU, but I know he loved RMU, so I know he's here watching still.
The Beaver Falls native has a strong family support system, as family and faith are 2 very important things in her life.
Well, my sister lives in New York now, so she did surprise me at a game last year. So she got to see me play once or twice, and then my mom, she comes to every game she can get to, no matter what.
Amelia is looking forward to the upcoming season and is hoping the team can build on consistency early in the season.
I just want to see us continue to grow and get better each game and come into the season with a lot of energy and spark, and then hopefully we can have a lot of success coming into the season.
Amelia and the RMU women's basketball team look to start their season strong at home against St. Francis University on November 7th at 11 a.m. For Colonial Sports Network, I'm Hope Beatty.
Thank you so much, Hope, for that newest edition of Local Legacies. Now, Colby, we talked about how the men's team fared last season. Let's talk a little bit about how the women's team fared last season.
I thought it was a really big improvement for the women's team. 14-15, 8th seed in Horizon League play. They hosted IUPUI. But what killed them was Ashaya Klovenstein going down last year. She did transfer to Utah State, but that rebounding presence that they had gone away. Esther Castillo, their leading scorer, is gone as well. So a lot of new faces got to step up. Maybe Mackenzie Amelia. So Casper's going to be out for long term as well. So it's going to be some new faces, Some people got to step up, but it could be a good year.
It could be, and now, obviously last season the women's team did fare a little bit better than the men's team, and losing 3 of their top 4 scorers is going to hurt, but we are going to see some new faces and maybe some new size to increase the power of the women's basketball team this season.
That's right, Kevin. Now, if you can't get enough of basketball, stop me if you heard this before, but Ethan Morrison is going to be joined by Nathan Breisinger and Cam Wickline to do a basketball discussion. So, guys, what do you have for us?
Thanks, guys. We are here inside the UPMC Event Center with our basketball analyst, Ethan Morrison, Cam Wickline. Thanks, guys, for sitting down with me today.
Excited to talk? Yeah.
We are just a few days away from the start of basketball season, so let's get right into it. Ethan, talking about the men's team, what are their expectations this season?
Well, the expectations from this season, I mean, they had a great, end to the year last year with making it to the Horizon League quarterfinals, just falling to Cleveland State, but getting that first Horizon League tournament win was huge for this team. And, just looking at what they got this year, coming into this year, they returned that solid core group of Enoch Cheeks, Khalil Spear, Michael Green III as well, and also Matt Mayers. So to have that core group back, they're starting to build that culture back up to where it used to be before the move to the Horizon League. So they're going to be a lot better than where they were last year. I'm thinking more middle of the pack this year in the Horizon League than what we've seen in years prior, with them finishing in the bottom third of the Horizon League.
And then speaking of the core, Cam, for you, for the women's basketball team, they have a younger core. What's the expectations for them?
I mean, this is a team that I think is going to be pretty good this year. Their first year in 2020 in the Horizon League, they had a pretty bad year. They were 4-12 in conference. They only played one out-of-conference game that year, but 4-13 overall, 4-12 in conference. Last year they had a lot better year, 14-15 overall, 11-11 in conference, so 500. I think they're just going to keep taking another step. It's going to be their third year in the Horizon League. All they've done is improve, so I don't see any reason for them to not just keep doing that, and I think they might be in the running for the Horizon League at the end of the year.
And then looking at the 2 coaches who are at the helm of each program, last year for the men's team, Andy Toole recorded his 200th win. What do you see from him this season to help continue building that program?
Andy Toole's in his 15th season overall here at Robert Morris. He's preached, he's been very, very consistent, especially before that move to the Horizon League. Obviously, with the move to the Horizon League, some growing pains, finishing, below 500, but throughout those years in the NEC has been very, very consistent, finishing at 500, making the conference tournaments every year. He has 5 conference championships, or has made it to 5 conference championship games in his tenure here at Robert Morris. So I think, just keep doing what he's doing. Obviously he's a tough coach. We've seen him, coach a lot of players very, very tough over the years. So I think, just building that culture within the program, having those returners, teach that culture, and really with Toole just continuing to do what he's been doing over his tenure here, I think they'll have a lot more success than they have over these past couple of years.
And just like Coach Toole, Coach B for the women's side of things has also been very impressive, has an impressive resume, reached 100 wins last year when he came back, sitting out most of the year. Cam, what do you think? How does he continue to build his program?
I honestly just think it's going to be about continuing what he's done. He was Coach of the Year 4 times in a row in the NEC from 2017 to 2020, so he obviously dominated that, moved up to a bit better competition into the Horizon League. Obviously didn't go well when he first got here, but he has a program record of 25 wins in a year, so he obviously knows what he's doing. Growing pains, just going to keep working through those, just going to keep getting better and better.
And then last one for both of you. We look at the stars who are going to be leading this team in Khalil Spear for the men's team, but what's a player maybe you want to watch for to break out this season?
We really saw Enoch Cheeks break out and get a lot better than he did from freshman and sophomore year. But my guy this year is going to be Matt Mayers. Last year, Matt, he got an increase in playing time over the course of the year, but through 32 games, he appeared in 32 games, started in 23 of those, averaged 6 points per game and 4 rebounds per game. I talked to head coach Andy Toole during the summer. He just talked about Matt just being more consistent on the defensive end, being more physical down low in the paint. So if he can do that, his minutes are going to exponentially increase, going to be in that starting rotation a lot more than he was last year. And, just pairing that with, his offensive presence, which was pretty good last year. He needs to improve a little bit there as well, being more physical down low. But if he can really step up, I think he will have the biggest improvement on this team from the returners.
And then Cam, for the women's side of things, Sol Castro is expected to miss some time early in the season. Who needs to step up for that team?
Well, my expectation is that Mackenzie Amelia is going to step up. She was a backup point guard last year, only averaged about 5 points a game, But I think the biggest difference, she's going to step into that starting role this year, and she can shoot the lights out. I mean, just simply, she was third on the team last year in three-point shooting, technically, but the two people that were ahead of her had 1 and 7 attempts collectively. So for my money, she was first. She shot 35.4% from three last year, so she's a very good shooter. I think that's going to carry her game. I think she's going to be a real difference maker for the team this year.
So thank you, Ethan. Thank you, Cam, for joining us. And the women's basketball team starts the season off here at home at 11 a.m. against St. Francis on Monday. And then men's starts their season at 7 p.m. on the road in Ohio State. Let's send it back over to the studio.
Thank you so much, Nate, Ethan, and Cam. Now, when we come back, we've still got plenty of Colonial sports for you. We've got plenty of volleyball, cross country, rowing, and don't miss out on the top 5 plays. That's all coming up on CSC.
If you love them enough to suck the snot out of their nose at 4 a.m., then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/the right seat to make sure they're in the right car seat.
Today, we face an unprecedented crisis. Tens of millions of refugees have been forced from their homes. But you can make a difference. Turn disruption and despair to hope and opportunity. Even small amounts make a big difference. Provide shelter, support, or jobs in your community. The more we understand, the greater sense of belonging we create. Act now. Visit supportcrisisrelief.org.
I don't want to talk about it.
I don't want to talk about it.
Families don't have to talk about everything, but they should talk about how to plan for an emergency. Get tips and resources to make your family's emergency plan.
Welcome back to Colonial Sports Center. We're going to have to take a dig into the volleyball team as they had a busy week last week as they begin to wind down their season. They began the week by taking on the IUPUI Jaguars, and the Colonials were able to win and break the losing streak. They won 3 sets to 2, 25-20, 25-19 for the Jaguars, 25-23, 25-22, and 15-9 in the final set for the Colonials. Abby Ryan, 20 kills, 3 aces. Caitlin Brown, what a freshman season for her, 47 aces. Brooke Phillips, 2 aces and 16 goals for the Jaguars.
That's right. Get used to seeing Abby Ryan and Caitlin Brown on these final scores because the Colonials took on Purdue Fort Wayne, looking to continue their winning streak to 2 games, but unfortunately they lost by a score of 3-1. Abby Ryan and Caitlin Brown highlighting proceedings once again. Abby Ryan with 21 kills, Caitlin Brown 42 assists. The Colonials drop a match to the Mastodons after beating IUPUI. Colby.
Now looking to turn it around and get back on their winning ways, the Colonials ended up falling to the Golden Grizzlies, getting swept. It only got worse for the Colonials, 26-24, 25-14, and 25-15. Patty Saracini, absolutely a Colonial killer this year, 13 kills. Abby Ryan, 7 kills. She had a heck of a week. And Elena Carmody, 1 ace, 21 digs. She's been pretty good for the Colonials this year.
Now switching things over to cross country, where both the men's and women's teams recently competed in the Horizon League Championships. How did both teams fare in the championship meet? Let's find out. As they took the trip to Michigan, as you can see, the women's team finished in 10th place in the 6K. Grace Mason led the way with a time of 23 minutes and 34 seconds. All 5 listed ran times under 25 minutes. And the men's team, 7th place in the 8K. Sophomore Skylar Vavro finished 13th overall with a time of 25 minutes, 26 seconds. Nearly all 5 shown in the men's team finished in the top 50, so a solid performance from both teams in the Horizon League Championships for cross country.
We're going to row our boats, the rowing teams that competed in the Sholey Hill competition over the weekend. Let's take a look and see how they did in that one. And the Colonials ended up having an all right day at the head of the Sholey Hill. Drexel, UConn, Delaware all finished above them, 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. RMU Boat A finished 15th, and boy, RMU Boat B finished in 40th for the women's varsity B. And for the women's novice, they finished in 19th.
So do you want to stay up to date with all things Colonial Sports? Well, you should check out colonialsportsnetwork.com. It's all student ran, and everyone over there has student-produced content, including previews, game recaps, podcasts, feature stories, and more. And you can also follow them on Twitter at RMU_CSN.
Now, don't go anywhere because we come back. The top 5 plays of the week are on the way, and RMU Comic of the Week makes its triumphant return right here on Colonial Sports Center.
Do you want to meet a family with a transgender kid? Here we are. Max loves to do backflips. Max loves to play his ukulele. Max loves to just be a kid and just be himself. When I found out I was pregnant, all I really wanted was a happy, healthy, whole child. And that's what I got. I think it's really important for people to know that trans kids don't have a political agenda. They are just kids. Like any parent, we love our kids unconditionally, and we will never stop fighting for them. Stand with us. Protect our families.
Wait! Not in the toilet!
No, don't do that. No.
Don't hit your brother! Ooh!
Not again!
What did I tell you about playing in the mud?
Raffy, not so close to the pool. Wait!
Frankie! Happy... What are you doing? We told you never to touch the gun!
I'm sorry, I didn't think it was that big of a deal.
You could have hurt yourself!
Safely store your guns. Unload, lock, and away from ammo.
Welcome back to Colonial Sports Center. Colby, it's time for my favorite part of the show, and probably yours too. It's top 5 plays of the week in Colonial Sports. Let's get right into things here. Number 5, top plays of the week. We're going to start things off at the NAC. RMU versus IUPUI. We saw a little bit about this game earlier. Colonials up 1-0 just before the half. Owen Jowett to Evan Lamarca, who beats the goalkeeper and scores. Colonials go up 2-0 just before the half. We'll see this again, and we'll see plenty more from this game. Colby.
I think that was a huge momentum swing for the Colonials in this one as they went on to hopefully win this game. We're going to stay with this game. They're up 4-0 nearing the end of the game. And we're going to see a cross here from Gray to McMillan. Tap it in. Colonials put the nail in the coffin on the Jaguars. They'd win this one 5-0 and punch their ticket to the playoffs.
Number 3 to Kid Brewer Stadium. Colonials trailing 7-0, facing 3rd and 10. Anthony Chickett will get the snap. The pocket collapses real quick, but he splits his defenders, jukes out the inside linebacker, and dives for the first down. This drive would ultimately lead to a field goal, the Colonials' only point of the game. Colby, this was a very athletic play from Chickett.
It was a really athletic play. I was on the sideline as he was running towards me, and I could not believe what I saw from Anthony Chickett. Great play. Staying in Kid Brewer Stadium in Boone, North Carolina. Chickett's going to roll out here, rolling the sideline, keep rolling. Finally throws it. Dante Martin comes down with it. Huge catch for the Colonials. Look at Bernard Clark get fired up over there.
He was very excited. This was definitely the biggest chunk play of the day for the Colonials. As you can see again, he rolls out to his right, as most college quarterbacks do, and looks to chuck it downfield and finds Dante Martin, leads him to the ball. It was a very nice pitch and catch there. Number 1, back to the pitch, tied at 0. Connor Hain with the corner kick, and he finds Shane McMillan for the goal off the header, which would be his first career goal as a Colonial. The freshman strikes first and ultimately opened the floodgates in that 5-0 Horizon League tournament clinching win over IUPUI.
Great week of Colonial action, Kevin. Now, you were asking if the top 5 plays are my favorite thing, and no way. The comic of the week coming back. Could not be more excited, Kevin.
Makes its triumphant return after so many weeks of not seeing it here on CSC. Here is the CSC comic of the week.
I would like to say before we go into this, this is supposed to get the crowd at Kid Brewer Stadium going and hyped up.
I think it did.
It may just be because we're from the north. I did not see the appeal of them out in here playing a banjo.
Sitting up in the press box, I think it got all the students excited. That sellout crowd, it got them all excited. But definitely a very funny sight to see from the CSN crew down south.
I can tell you for one thing, the Colonials thought it was very odd. One of the coaches told me it's, quote, because we're in the south.
Now, Colby, moving on to our games to watch for the weekend. We're going to start with you. What is your game to watch this weekend?
Finally hoping to see a win for the football team as they take on Charleston Southern in Charleston, South Carolina. You see it right there, taking on the Buccaneers. and they won 31-24. Elijah Jackson, can he finally get it going? And Jeremiah McLennan, he's been huge for the Buccaneers all year. What about you, Kevin?
My game to watch is as the RMU men's soccer team takes on Oakland in the first round of the Horizon League Soccer Tournament. There's a rumor that a group from CSN may make the trip to cover that game. Shane McMillan scored his first 2 career goals on Wednesday, came up huge in that win over IUPUI. And Dawson Schrum leads the Golden Grizzlies in goals, assists, and points. That is my game to watch this weekend, Colby.
Huge week in Colonial action, but thank you so much for watching Colonial Sports Center. Kevin Pacha, my name is Kobe Sherwin. We will see you next week.